everyone, my name is Second, and we are playing Sky Factory 4. I hope we're recording Sky Factory 4. This is the third time I've tried to do this episode because I am bad at stuff. So as you can see, I went ahead and moved all of the resource trees from Sky Orchards around. We got it a little less chaotic looking now. And if we run out of room over here, we've only got 3 more spots before we start interfering with the staircase, which I will show you all in a minute. Then we can just extend the line of item ducts down here and just add another line of barrels over here. So there's that. I made us up a nickel tree. Very exciting because we're going to need a little invar later in the episode. The nickel sapling is only hard to make if you're me, and consistently somehow fail to access this recipe over the course of many, many minutes. But all you gotta do is make some nickel and melt it down in your smeltery and pour it over in an iron sapling. And the nickel you can get from the nickel amber, which is just more cocoa beans from our trusty jungle tree in the bonsai pot over there, 2 sand resin, 2 bone resin, and 4 petrified resin, all of which we have. Now, I am going to take a little break already, and I'm going to make sure that this recording is working, and we will be back. Alright, it appears like it's finally working this time, so I'm quite excited. You will notice that on our jankiest little platform here, I took the smeltery down. Funny how little and sad this platform that used to be 40% of our base now looks. I'll be tearing that down at some point off camera. Now what I want to do is increase the size of the smeltery, and I want to automate it. So I made a bunch more of these seared bricks, which are just that's the use on one of the recipe. Doing it wrong today. Which are just 4 of these seared bricks in a crafting grid. And again, you make these with grout. You smelt the grout, and you gotta do it. You can't do it in a smeltery, because generally speaking you wouldn't have one yet. And the grout is just sand, gravel, and clay. I also made us an extra faucet and an extra smeltery drain for reasons that will become clear. We're gonna put a frame around it because I don't want to put it down on the floor, and then because I know I'm gonna move it again. I'm not gonna keep it here. I just want to put it here for now because we're gonna need some metal, and I'd like to start automating the production of that. Now I took the chisel and I made ourselves 8 of these, which I think are gonna make nice little corner pieces here. And I made us a ton of these, which are really quite nice. Nice little braided pattern. I think that'll look pretty good. Now we're gonna put the smeltery controller down here, and we're gonna put, I guess, the tank over here. Then we're gonna do a solid row of these bricks. We're not gonna put the faucets or the drains, or probably drains, they're called drains. These are the drains, small ones are the faucets. We're not gonna put the faucets directly on the first level, and the reasons for that will become clear. We're gonna put them up here on the second level. And that's gonna be just fine, and you'll see the whys and hows. So we're down to just this stuff here. Okay, so you can build these things pretty tall. I'm not sure exactly how tall. This is going to be one of the bigger ones I've made. I have a feeling that I'm going to be using this for a while. I don't know when we're going to be able to get in a mechanism. Osmium seems like it's a pretty serious block in the road But maybe there's something simple that I either just didn't see or I haven't figured out yet. Alright. Whoops. Oh, I have a just fine axe. Now, I have not had to repair the pick once that we made out of that pig iron, which was a real thing. It's not just a hilarious Minecraft joke involving bacon. To ship iron, they used to form it into what they called iron pigs. I don't know why they made it into that shape. It was a pretty weird shape. But I'm sure there was a reason for it, where the name comes from. You can probably look it up on the Wikipedia or similar. I don't care enough to find out myself. Okay, so this is a whoops. So this is a nice big smeltery, and instead of 9 blocks being able to be smelted at a time, and however little many of the liquid form we can store, now I can store 1, 2, 3. We can smelt 45 items at a time. And I don't know how much this will hold. Quite a bit. Probably more than we're ever going to put in it. So the next thing we need here is an item duct and a servo. We had this part of it automated already with just a chest and a hopper. But the thing with the hoppers is that they're big. It's very hard to reach past them to the smeltery control, and we're going to want to have access to this to see how things are doing and to see what we have in there certain times, so we can make alloys, and also not make alloys. So we'll throw our server in here. We'll set the redstone signal to be ignored, and that will go ahead and just suck whatever we put into the chest into the smeltery to be smelted up or possibly alloyed. Speaking of alloys, we're going to make us an alloy. It's actually 1 stack. Let's see if we can get a little bit more in there. I'd like to use a stack to craft. You can see I forgot to put the servo in here at first, so I'm still working on getting all the items that got routed to it incorrectly out of there. Alright, so how many we got? We haven't built up very many, but I think 8 will give us 2 of the amber, and we'll just smelt up a whole ton of iron here. Okay, so we've got this'll double in the smeltery, of course, so we'll get 128 blocks of iron 128 iron ingots out of this, and we'll get 2 nickel out of this, or we would if I wasn't going to put the iron in there. Now, iron and nickel, 2 parts iron, 1 part nickel, make 3 parts invar. And we're going to make ourselves up 6 invar. So we'll put the nickel in first, and that'll go in there and start smelting, and then we'll put all the iron in there. So, suck it out and fill this thing up. Now, while that's melting down, we're going to set the rest of this up. We're going to put the casting table and basin both. This is why I have 2 faucets and 2 drains, so I can have both of these running at once. Well, they're a block up from off the floor. The reason is I'm going to want to put hoppers under these. Now, a hopper will reliably suck out whatever is in here, but if there's a cast in, it won't take the cast. So, the other thing we want to do, though, is automate the clicking of the faucet, because I don't want to stand here and click this 128 times to get all that iron out, and even doing it by blocks would be tedious. So what I've already done, and I'll show you how I did it, is I've made 2 redstone clocks. And these are not hard to make. We have this point, we have everything we need to make it. They're just 4 iron, 4 redstone, and a repeater, which is 2 sticks, 3 stone, and 3 redstone. Or you can make the torches first. I really like this recipe cyclic added. That makes life quite a bit simpler. That's very nice. Now, I've already made these on the first attempt of recording this episode. Let's see where they are. Now, what we're going to do is just slap them right up here on either side of the faucet, and then I'm going to take a quick break because reasons. I'll be right back. And I'm back. Sorry about that. Now you can see that both of these are just pouring, and that's fine because we got a lot of iron in here. But for now, we can control these. I don't want it always on. I want it to require redstone to be on. Now we're gonna slap a lever to it. So if I turn this on, it will apply a redstone signal to this, but I'm just gonna click the old faucet. Oh, it did enough to make an iron block. That's good. Okay. We're gonna do the same to this one over here, because there's gonna be times when I'm gonna have things that I wanna have in there long enough to alloy with each other. The process isn't instant, and some of these ingots take longer to melt than others. So these are really cool, by the way. You can set the how long the pulse lasts. You can change the delay. I played with it before because I've already set this up. I can turn this down to 40 and have it going a little faster, the delay, have it pour the ingots a little quicker. But I noticed that when I started pouring gold, which hardens more quickly, it was going through 2 full cycles. And there's really no difference to me. It's not like with this being the entire world, we're going to suffer a lot of lag. Okay, so we're going to stop this from pouring, because I don't know what happened to the nickel. I assume it alloyed and it's floating on the top. Okay, there's our invar. How many blocks? 1 block, okay. The iron must have been 10 blocks, so we'll just pour a block out. And eventually I'm going to put a hopper under here, too, to suck that stuff out. And so what, a couple more ingots on top of the block. Now, with these smelteries, you do have to be careful, because it will pour into the casting basin or into the casting table, whether or not there is enough in the smeltery to fill up the mold or the basin or whatever it is. It'll just do that, and then you'll be stuck. The only way I've ever found to deal with that is to break the block, and then you lose all that liquid. And with the stuff we have at this point, it's really not that big a deal because we're just growing more and more. But some of the more valuable alloys that I'm not sure we're going to be able to automate, we don't want that to happen to. This is still cooling. Like, some of this takes longer to harden and cool than others. Okay, we got all the invar out of there. So I'm going to turn that back on. And it's just going to pour me out iron ingots. Is this thing done yet? It's empty. Must mean it's done. Alright, that's a good amount of invar. And we're going to need that. Now, last episode, we were working with this thing, and we were just manually placing blocks of wood on it. And we've gotten a ton of plastic. Each one of these tiny dry rubbers, you craft a 3x3, you get a dry rubber, which you smelt into plastic sheets. Now, the stuff you make with it doesn't use a lot of the sheets, and we've got, I don't know how much. I think more than a stack of the sheets. Yeah, well, there's a stack right there. Plenty of these sheets. So, the next thing we want to do is something with our failed squid tank over here. It's just too high for squid to spawn, which is a real pain. Because if we could have gone down even just a block from where we're standing, then we could have gotten squid to spawn. That's why we saw them spawn in the water stream over there from time to time. They were actually spawning below the, the water source. They were spawning in the stream, falling into the void, which must have been a very strange brief life. So what we want to make now is we want to make something from Industrial Foregoing called a resource fisher. And these aren't hard to make. I wonder if that's a doubler. I don't know what it does. Maybe we'll find out. So it's a fishing rod. It's two of the plastic pieces, which you get by smelting the rubber, like we just showed. 2 buckets, 2 iron gears, which are just 4 pieces of iron in a crafting grid. A piece of redstone and a machine case, which is a block of redstone, some planks, and 4 more iron. So I'm going to go ahead and craft that up, by which I mean pick up the one I've already built. Where'd I put it? I don't know. There it is. Now we're going to go ahead and place that. Now what these things need is you just need to place them over a 3x3 of water that's at least 1 deep. So our little fishing pool here will be more than sufficient to handle this. We're just going to put it right here. That'll give us a 3x3. Around it, that's not the right tool. That'll give us the 3x3 around it. That will allow it to start producing fishing resources for us. Now we do need to power these, and lucky for us, we learned last episode or the episode before that these simple combustion generators will power industrial foregoing machines. Now, those generators are really cheap for the amount of power that you get out of them. It's just a furnace, 3 stone. That's the what do I call it? The smelted stone of any kind. 3 iron ingots and a block of redstone. So we had all that. So guess what? I crafted one. Now the other thing we're gonna need. Well, we don't really need this. But just for convenience's sake, we're going to go ahead and place this over here instead of right next to it. That means we're going to have to, first of all, power the thing. So let's go ahead and make some coal. And we also need a way to get energy from the generator to the resource fisher block. So what we're going to do is take the lowest tier cable. You know what? I tell a lie. We're going to take a 2nd tier cable from Industrial Foregoing. I have finally learned to count here. 4 acorns, 4 stacks of acorns, and 5 stacks of the resin will give you a stack of whatever you're trying to craft. I don't know why that took me so long. So we're going to pop this in here and let it start building up its power buffer. Now we're going to make some energy type ducts from thermodynamics. These are real simple. They're just 2 lead, a piece of glass, and 4 redstone dust. And what they do, they transfer 1,000 RF a tick. More or less. I don't really understand the per connection stuff. I'd like to say something intelligent about it, but I'd probably just end up being wrong. Now these, we can take and, I believe, upgrade them. Yes. We can craft these with, we can craft 3 leadstone flux ducts with 3 redstone and an invar to get hardened flux ducts. Now these transfer 4,000 a tick. Now, like I mentioned, this is the third time I've recorded this episode, so when I had this set up before, I noticed that a leadstone flux duct was exactly enough power to power one of these things with nothing left over. Excuse me. Oh, pardon me. Just nothing but trouble. So now we've got power from here running through the flux ducts, and slowly, well, I guess this isn't storing any energy, is it? Okay, I guess that just means energy can come into it. These are much, much. Okay, so we show the working area. So it's just right below it. That's fine. So that's why we don't have the precision sledgehammer anymore. I thought this would start filling the buffer. Well, it's not. It's just going ahead and putting what it catches into the little inventory in here. So we're gonna need to get it out of there because this inventory isn't very big. Fortunately, we have plenty of item and flux ducts. I can't tell you how many. Like, we cut our servo usage by 50% for a resource tree by switching around the way that was set up. You know, never be afraid to change what you have or feel like you gotta start your world over. You can always just build it again. Rebuild it. I mean, you can tear a project down and rebuild it. That's what I'm trying to say. Just worse and worse with words. So, like we can see, resources don't come out of this automatically. We're going to have to suck them out with one of these servos, which aren't hard to build. We made a bunch of them in previous episodes. They're just, this is the basic tier, so they're 2 iron ingots, 2 iron nuggets, glass, and a redstone. And we want to turn it to ignore the redstone signal, and then this will start taking things out of the resource fish and put them into the chest. Now, the chest also has a limited inventory, and we're going to be getting a lot of the same type of items. So I went ahead and I made us a lot of crates. The crates are pretty easy to make. I guess those lock them if you empty them. They keep the same inventory. So these are easy to make. It's just 6 planks in a chest, and you get these crates. They're from the same mod as the barrels that we've been using, and I like them. So we'll take the ones I have the fish in out first. We're just going to take these out and stack them up. What is this I got here? I got the regular. Whoop, we're going to want to make these. We're going to run item ducts behind these, so we're going to make them one out. Raw fish, where's our salmon? Clownfish. Pufferfish. And then the rest of this stuff. Now the crates, like I said, they work just like the barrels. They will, in their raw state, accept 64 stacks of whatever item that you put in them, and at that point they will register as an inventory that has that in it and only that. And you can use that to your advantage with these item ducts, and I will show you how that works. Okay, bunch of stuff we're getting a lot of. So in here we got some stuff. So far, it's all stuff that we already have in a crate here, right? Right. So we're gonna go ahead and hook some item ducts up here. Now we're gonna need a few more than that, I guess. And we're gonna grab one more thing. Well, 2 more things. We're gonna get some junk coming through here. We're probably gonna get a lot of junk coming through here. You get like leather boots in various states of disrepair, you know, all kinds of things that we don't want. So what I wanted was a way to get rid of those items, so I don't have to deal with them. So I found in just enough items over here this trash wood from Cyclist, which is easy to make. It's just a chest, 5 iron ingots or 5 iron nuggets, and an iron ingot. So we're just gonna take this and our servos and some more item ducts. Am I out of? Am I gonna have to make some more? Did I put any in this chest over here? Maybe. Please. Please. I did not. Alright, I think I can save this one here. Trying to make it look a certain way. I don't know why I wanted to make it look like that. Okay, this will be fine. This will be just exactly one short. So, we're doing good. We're doing real good. So let's make a few more of those. There's just 2 pieces of tin and some of that that metal-infused glass that we made using the smeltery, which in this particular case is also tin. So let's go ahead and make 6 more items. There we go. Now the other thing we're gonna want, because we're only gonna want certain items to go into this trash void. Like for instance, get out of there. Oh, that may become useful later. We certainly don't want it dumping, because this is going to come first in line. This can theoretically accept anything into it. Just delete all items. Guess delete fluids. Or if not, delete fluids, I guess. Make it require redstone signal to turn on. We're going to leave it always on, but anything you put in here just disappears from the game. That piece of string, gone. History. All over it. So we have to be really careful with this thing. But there is an item, and I know it looks like it's not disconnect. There is an item from thermodynamics similar to the servo that's going to help us out. Now, if you remember, on the servo, even this most basic one, we were able to do a whitelist and a blacklist with 6 items. Now, there's another item from thermodynamics called the filter, which is going to allow us to do something similar, this word issue. Dear, oh dear. Similar to that, but instead of determining what items get pulled out of an inventory, it's going to help us determine what items go in. Now, the basic filter is a recipe very similar to the basic servo, except instead of a piece of redstone, here it's a piece of paper. Okay, fine. But this will only give us 3 slots to whitelist or blacklist, and I think we're going to get more than 3 junk items. Now the hardened filter, here's our invar that we just smelted. This will have 6 on the list, and we could take a vanilla filter and slap an invar ingot on it, and get us a hardened filter. We don't have any filters, so we can't slap an invar ingot on one to make a hardened filter. Now these reinforced filters have 9 slots, but we do not have the ability to get electrum yet, because we haven't gotten any light grade dye yet, because we haven't been able to get any splitting yet. That's all to make the silver. Electrum is 1 part silver, 1 part gold, and that's where we're at. That's why we're doing the stitching thing in the first place. Hope we get the so-called junk item of 10 splitting, and that's why we're making the hardened filters. And by making, I mean I made them yesterday. And hopefully, we're finally going to get them into a recording here. Quite easy to make. So what you do is you just slap this on the connection of the item duct into whatever inventory you want to filter going into it. Now this is always on. We're not going to blacklist. We're going to whitelist. So only items on here, on this whitelist, will be able to pass into the trash inventory. So that means we can just go ahead and slap a servo on here. The ducks are smart enough that they'll look at these inventories. They'll see nothing can go in here right now because this has a whitelist on it, and there's nothing on the whitelist. But there's 12 items total that can go into these crates. Raw fish, salmon, clownfish, pufferfish, so on. So it's going to take all of this stuff, it's going to move it right past the trash void, and put it right into the crate. Totally ignoring this water bottle, this stick, and this fishing rod, and we're keeping this fishing rod. So what we can do, now we've already got more sticks than we're ever going to know what to do with those two different farms involving trees in 1 point, whatever this is, where we're clearly getting sticks. I don't even know what version this is. 1.12, we're getting sticks from trees. And water bottles aren't going to be an issue. So if we were to put these items on the whitelist, then these items would now get sucked out of the chest, whereas before they were not. And they're just going to go right into this trash void and disappear from the game forever. Isn't that nice? So unlike the barrels we had set up down here with void upgrades in them that are gonna destroy items after the inventory gets filled up to a certain point, like in this case, this particular barrel, you can see the trash can icon on the barrel there, right there, has a void overflow in it, so once it's full, it will continue to accept the sticks. You can see the sticks coming through the item duct and going in there, but we'll still have access to 128 stacks of sticks, and if we take them out of here, it'll start filling them up again. That trash void will just take everything that goes in it and destroy it. So, two different voiding mechanics for your skyblock resource bonanza usage. Bonanza. I like that word. Nobody says bonanza. I think it was that silly TV show. So, as promised, we're gonna go up the stairs. I built this yesterday because it was time to get into some serious agriculture. Wasn't hard to build. Didn't take a while. We just used the chisel and made ourselves up a couple of variants of cobblestone blocks and just took some vanilla dark oak and acacia wood and fences and made a nice little platform here. Now I've got the vanilla crops staggered like this, and that's on purpose. Vanilla crops, for some reason, it has been observed, and I guess confirmed, that when they're planted next to each other, like this beetroot will grow faster with the wheat and the potatoes on either side than it would with more beetroot on either side. So there's that. And yes, beetroot, precious, precious beetroot. We love our beets, not just because they're the only vegetable I'm familiar with that, even under normal digestive circumstances, goes out the same color it comes in. These are also our currency for the market, in which we can get our olive and ironwood saplings, finally, because I want to build with that wood and see what we can do with the olive oil and the ironwood berries. This is also where we get our other seeds, we get wild berries, we get all this basic rustic stuff that I think you'd normally get from like breaking grass and stuff, and finding in the world. I mean, we definitely find the trees in the world, and find the bushes too. Well, we can trade beetroot for them. Now, I've only got 3 beetroot right now. Got a bunch of this other stuff, so I'm just gonna do a little quick farming for a second here. I haven't been up here much. We're gonna put more potatoes over here. Yeah, look at that food. Now, we don't have to wait because we got a whole hog sky orchard tree down here doing nothing but producing bone meal for us. We got almost a stack in there as a byproduct. I bet we have more than that. That's 62 stacks. we're gonna have to... Oh no, we're still only halfway through. I forgot I upgraded all these, so they're double. Whoops. Alright, that'll get us, oh, this will get us a stack of bone blocks. So this will get us 9 stacks of bone blocks. So we do not have to wait for anything or anybody to go ahead and get this market going. And this is all new here. I have everything else we've done so far is just I'm recording again because I didn't get it the first 2 times. But this is all new, all different. We're gonna go ahead and bone meal the heck out of this. Oh, that's a lot of bone meal. I do like those bone trees. They're kind of disgusting. I thought of it, but they sure are effective. Alright, that's a good amount of beetroot just to demonstrate this. So what we're going to do now is we're going to build this market. This is from, I want to say this is the farming for blockhead mod. Yeah, not the harvest craft one. So it's just wool, 5 logs, 2 planks. All this is going to be very... We have all this stuff. The only block was the beetroot. And alright, we got the seeds originally, if you remember, from bone mealing our little grassy area up there. So I need to set the shears. And we're gonna go up here. And we're gonna shear some sheep. Just like, I don't know, whatever relative you have. It used to be a shepherd. Just like that. Just shear yourself. Ooh, that's hard to say. Try saying sheep shear yourself 7 times fast. Go ahead and do it now. I'm listening. That was terrible. You didn't even try. You just laughed at it. Alright. Now we can get some red dye just from the beetroot itself. Easy peasy. Which version of Minecraft? Okay, so 1 wool per dye. Okay, just need 1. And that's an advancement. Alright. It really looks like me doing whatever the heck I feel like doing. Mod pack had in mind where I can pick things up. Now, we're gonna set this up right here, near our chest, but not directly on the same block. And we'll see why. Stand back. Stand back. Here it comes. Here it comes. You okay, buddy? You okay? This is the guy's cousin. This is the cousin of the guy that we have in a... Whoa! Hello! Oh, I don't like the sound of that. Where'd you come from? That was a whole entire spider. Okay. We're gonna turn our mini-map back on. And, oh, I'm all scared now. Turn it all up. We're gonna turn our mini-map, not that one. We're gonna turn this back on and see if there are any red spots. Okay, there are not. That's good. But that spider spawned from somewhere. I don't know where. And I do not want... I don't know if mob briefing is on or off in this. I don't know where that fella came from. I don't know what's on and what's off. Okay. That's our mob detector. Oh my god. Yikes! Thanks, lightning. I have a horrible idea. I know where that came from. Yep, I just saw the spot. We neglected to light the top of our smelter. By we, I mean I. There we go. How a spider spawned up here? I don't know. I thought... Oh, boy, look at this. Let's hope that's all of it. Creeper explosion here could be the end of my hilarious show. And I just ate another little piece of my face. Okay, what on earth was I doing? I'll have the first idea. The first spider kill of the series here. Screwed up earlier and had to kill it. Oh my god, are they spawning on top of the pumpkin? Spawn on top of the pumpkin. That's ridiculous. That's totally ridiculous. Okay. Alright, spawn on top of the pumpkin. Fantastic. So we have this same thing in our All the Mods Mods 4 world, but I don't know how this one works. I mean, clearly they've renamed him. I say him. So we can buy this with corn. We could buy that for gold. If we were unable to get the beetroot, I guess, from bone meal and grass. That's nice to know. What do we have? I don't have any idea what these animal foods do. I'm scared because they're some pretty brutal ones. So that stuff, I guess. Oh, we need wheat. Oh, we just need wheat for that. Okay. That costs wheat. That costs beetroot. We got saplings, flowers. Okay, so our dye issues are officially over. That's nice. Let's go ahead. These only cost beetroot. Oh no, they cost emeralds. Our dye problems. They are not over. They are not over. Alright. That's what you buy bone meal, yeah. Well, take. Look at it. Yeah, rabbit hide. That's wood. That's cool. Feathers for seeds. Eggs for seeds. Okay. Alright. So, we're gonna wait on the trees for well, we really already got it going, don't we? So let's give this a try. I've already got the pots for these. So we're gonna go ahead and buy us an olive sapling and an ironwood sapling. Very excited. I'm excited. You don't sound excited. Buddy. Buddy. Are you excited? Hey. 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 I guess he's only interested in my money. Alright. So, I don't think we have any mulching talk yet. Oh, we do. So let's throw our olive sapling in. And our ironwood sapling in. Nice. Now I believe we have all of the saplings that aren't from Sky Orchard, they're from the Pilot Store. So that's a start. Let's see what byproducts we get from these here. Oh, spice. Trees, leaves, and wood. Not that exciting. Okay, we got the iron berries and the ironwood trees. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. These all make light gray things. These all make light gray things. I hear another spider for crying out loud. Yeah, it was just my imagination. Well, we'll see. I heard something. I don't see anything. On the mini-map, is it not set up to show me mobs? Show mobs. Alright. Oh! have ore excavator. Did not feel like digging my way out of my own smeltery. Alright, we'll figure it out. Maybe I was just imagining that. I could have just been imagining that. Alright. So we were still in the market to try to make this silver. And the stumbling block. Ha! Yeah, we can use this. The stumbling block was light gray, and now we got iron berries. So that's 2 tin, 4 petrified resin. I might have to hook a petrified resin tree back up at this rate. So let's get our tin resin out. And then we'll have to look up what the other one was. I've already forgotten. Lead. There's... Oh. Can't tell you. Silver, amber, at last. Now with this we can make a silver tree. What we need to do is pour the molten silver over a mineral sapling. So we want to smelt it up, and we're going to turn this off. So it doesn't have a redstone signal, and it won't just pour this out the very second it's done with it. We're going to grab ourselves a mineral sapling. Or 2. I'll put 1 in there. Now we're going to get our easily accessible smeltery controller that we don't have a hopper in front of anymore to do that. Okay, 2 molten silver. Pour it over the mineral tree. And at last, folks, we have our silver trees. Come on, almost there. I love it. I could see yeah, it sucked it down to this thing. Okay. So that was productive. We got ourselves a silver sapling. Finally, we've got ourselves some agriculture going. We've got our auto fisher going. Let's see how that's going real quick before we call a halt to this episode, which I desperately hope I will have successfully recorded this time. Because I swear I'm gonna rage quit this series if I have to do this a 4th time. Okay, so we've got some boots in here now. What we want to do is add boots to the whitelist here, but the boots these have damage to it, and if we have the metadata on in the filter, then it will only accept leather boots that have exactly that much damage, and we want it to... Whoops. I just tabbed out of the game because I'm a super genius. What we want to do is for it to accept all leather boots, so we're going to say no metadata. That'll allow us to, add pools of different durabilities to this to take them all out. There we go. But everything else this thing is picking up is just going into the chest and getting sucked out if it's in one of the crates. This will now take 6 boots and water bottles into the trash boy. And stuff like saddles is going to get left in here. And also, I hope, who am I kidding, I know, enchanted books, fishing rods, and bows. We did get ourselves a mending bow, which I'm very excited about, but I noticed there's also holding 4 on there, which apparently increases the storage capacity of certain items, and I am gonna be looking that up, because I don't have the first idea to, use it, on an anvil with a chest, or, I just don't know. I have no idea how that works. So, for now, this will be the end of the episode. I'd like to thank you all so much for watching, and hope you have a lovely rest of whatever this is. Okay, bye-bye.